Health is real, seek help, and the stigma. On the news this evening, Rivers CP apologizes to NUJ over journalist assault during protest. Court stops security agencies from arresting former Obiakpo chairman. Rivers immunization officer dismisses reports of disruption in healthcare services. On the foreign scene, UN raises alarm over Israeli attacks on women and children in Gaza. I'm Sam Chinedu, and the news continues after the break. Welcome back. The Rivers State Commissioner of Police, CP Olugbenga Adepoju, has apologized to the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, over the assault on journalists by some police officers during Monday's protest in Port Harcourt. CP Adepoju tendered the apology when he visited the NUJ Rivers State Council Secretariat in Port Harcourt today. Accompanied by top management of the command, he said the divisional police officers in charge of the formations where the officers were deployed have been removed from their positions.
I'm somebody that don't like begging, so I want to do the right thing to ensure I don't beg. So when they push me to beg, it embarrasses me. But since I'm their leader, I don't have a choice than to come on their behalf. So I'm purposely here to come and first apologize for what has happened and let you know that we're not taking it kindly. We're not in support of it, and I'll never be in support of that. We're not supposed to be found in such situation. If at all there's any reason to do that, there should be evidence to prove, and it should be to protect people, not to attack people. Not to talk of facing. I believe there must be a mistake somewhere. I won't see any reason why they want to face journalists, or maybe they were in the midst of those people. Even as at that, there was no evidence to prove that they had a reason to smoke.
CP Olugbenga Adepoju assured the journalists that disciplinary measures would be taken against the officers involved and reiterated his commitment to ensuring police officers act with civility.
I want to promise that it will not repeat itself, but for anybody who does such thing after being warned will find himself to be blamed. So I came here with my team to let you know that we're sorry, we apologize, and we want to still continue to plead for your synergy and relationship.
In his response, Chairman of the NUJ River State Council, Mr. Paul Bazia, commended the CP for the visit and the steps taken so far.
We are not making so much demand. Just when we see that some of those officers are actually punishing, it's okay, it's fine, and I hope that this one will not happen again. We cannot actually remove conflict in every human setting, but let's minimize it.
Recall that the NUJ gave a 14-day ultimatum to the police to apologize. In another development, a state high court in Port Harcourt has granted an order to restrain the security agencies from arresting the former chairman of Obiakpo local government area, Chijioke Ihunwo. The order follows an application filed by Mr. Ihunwo, who approached the court after former head of service George Nweke allegedly linked him to the 2023 bombing of the River State House of Assembly complex. The court restrained the Inspector General of Police, the River State Commissioner of Police, the Police Service Commission, the Nigeria Police Force, the Director General of the Department of State Services, and the DSS in River State from taking any action against him. The presiding judge, Justice IPC Igwe, also granted Mr. Ihunwo permission to issue and serve court summons on all defendants. The matter has been adjourned to the 30th of April for hearing. Moving on, a lawyer, Chion Choko, says the Nigerian Bar Association's decision to move its annual general conference to Enugu is a clear message they will not accept the imposition of a state of emergency. Speaking on Nigeria Info FM's Morning Crossfire, Choko said the NBA is simply walking the talk, adding that the move reflects the association's commitment to its principles. He said the NBA cannot come to a state where there is no democratic rule.
I think it's the best decision NBA has in recent time made. We must have it at the back of our minds that NBA is the protectors of the law. If NBA should go ahead to host our annual general conference in Port Harcourt, what it means is that we are indirectly giving a subtle agreement to the declaration of state of emergency in a state where such thing ought not to have been declared in the first place. Having issued a statement in this regard before, what they need to do is to be more practical about it. And this is what exactly they have done by saying we cannot come to a state where there is no democratic rule. We cannot come to a state where there is a one-man show.
The NBA in a statement said the appointment of a sole administrator means the city can no longer be considered a viable host, as a state of emergency declared in Rivers State violates Section 305 of the 1999 Constitution. Elsewhere, the National Treasurer of Ijaw National Council, INC, Philip Agu, says a planned rally in honor of the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, in Bayelsa State by a group known as New Associates is capable of heating up tensions in Ijaw land. Philip made this claim while speaking on the consequences of allowing the rally to be held in Yenagoa, despite existing court cases and refusal of the Bayelsa State government for it to hold.
Is another attempt by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory in daring the Ijaw people. New Associates is domiciled in Rivers State. I am wondering how that associate and now people in Bayelsa State want to host him. Why is it that all his new associate gathering will be done in Ijaw land? Is it only in Ijaw land New Associate will hold their meetings and rally? Doesn't he have associates in the east, western part of the country or the northern part of the country?
The NT national officer also asked President Tinubu to ensure he maintains the promise he promised. He maintains the peace he promised to keep in all parts of the country.
Because the president is solidly behind them. That's what we are seeing. And just like I have asked before, why is the president doing this? Is he using this to test the water on what Ijaw people can do, or these people are still planning that they will all rally? It doesn't have people in Yoruba that can host him in a rally. It doesn't have people in Igbo land. Is it only in Ijaw?
In other news, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Governor of Kaduna State Nasir El-Rufai, and former Governor of Sokoto State and serving Senator Aminu Tambuwal, today visited former President Muhammadu Buhari at his residence in Kaduna. Also in their entourage were the former Governor of Imo State Achike Udenwa, former Benue State Governor Gabriel Saswan, and former Adamawa State Governor Jubrila Bindo, as well as former Minister of Communications Isa Pantami. In a post on his X handle, Atiku described the visit to Buhari as a wonderful time with the former president. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu on Thursday met with the United States State Department Senior Advisor for Africa, Massad Bolos, in Paris, France. The Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, made this known on X today. He said the high-level discussions focused on regional security, including working together with partners to build a durable peace in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo and economic cooperation across the African continent. Still to come, Rivers Immunization Officer dismisses reports of disruption in healthcare services. Stay tuned. Welcome back. An environmentalist, Professor Sidney Obidimma Nzako, has urged the public to ensure proper cleaning of their drainage systems. It follows the surfacing of flash floods in parts of Port Harcourt on rainy days. Professor Obidimma Nzako, the head of Animal and Environmental Biology Department at the University of Port Harcourt, said flood control should not be left for the government alone.
The overflowing of the drainage as it relates to the current thing we have now is negligence on the part of the populace. They say if you sweep your domot, I sweep my domot, all our compound will be neat. But everybody is blaming the government. And when they do the sweeping and do it correctly, they will pour it back into the drainage. Drainage is not a collection point. You'll be expecting the governor to come to your house and desilt your drainage for you. So if you want an environment that is healthy for every one of us, we must join hands to make it what it is supposed to be.
Professor Obidimma Nzako, however, charged the government to be proactive in the disposal of refuse kept at designated points to avoid it settling into drainages.
If we want to stop this overflowing of our environment when the rains come, one, we must talk about awareness creation. To the mechanics, market women, all are sundry, even the churches, tell them what to do, how to go about it, and enforce it. Two, the infrastructure, that is, where are we dumping the refuse? If it is at this point we are supposed to dump the refuse, how often will it be packed? It's not that you dump the refuse here. The people that live within there are inhaling very bad air. They are going to the hospital. They won't be happy with it. They will block that point of collection.
And to health, the Rivers State Immunization Officer, Dr. Orang Joseph, has dismissed reports claiming that immunization, family planning, and child nutrition services have been suspended since the declaration of a state of emergency. In an interview with our correspondent, Dr. Joseph clarified that health services were never stopped across all local government areas, adding that routine immunization has started in 11 local government areas in the state. He also confirmed that the accounts of the Primary Healthcare Management Board have been unfrozen.
It would have been better for him to clearly see that he's insisting on the consolidated accounts, which is still at the level of the state government to address that. But diving into the fact that accounts were frozen and activities were halted is actually a blatant lie that we cannot fathom where it's coming from. Immunization services were never halted in any of the health facilities. There are no other services that were halted in those processes. At some point, all the government accounts were frozen and later were unfrozen, and activities has long commenced in all these areas that he has pointed out.
Recall that the national president of the Primary Healthcare Workers Association of Nigeria, Daniel Atiemie, said primary healthcare delivery in the state has been disrupted due to the state of emergency and freezing of accounts. To power stories now, the Deputy Secretary General for the South-South-Southeast region of the Senior Staff Association of Electricity and Allied Companies, Innocent Lord Douglas, says the recent power outages in parts of Port Harcourt are due to limited electricity supply to distribution companies. Speaking with correspondent Soibi Oruwari, Lord Douglas explained that the electricity available to distributors, particularly the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company, has not been enough, which is why they had to start rationing power.
But of course, you cannot give what you don't have. The energy given is half in one of the substations, half of what they're supposed to get. The distribution company is also limited in their own area of distribution. So what they will do is to ration. In other words, do in situation like that is to ration. It gives some people some time and take and give the apple because they are also being limited due to the supply or the energy that they are getting from transmission company.
Lord Douglas added that making it harder to meet the city's power needs.
Epileptic power supply in the states. They are having a limitation of a supply from transmission, which is PHED. One of the first substation, that is one of the substations of transmission company. That substation has about 6 feeders, and the energy that's supposed to go to the 6 feeders is about 90 megawatts. But because of the limitation they are having, the energy that goes to that substation is about 45 megawatts as per day. 45 megawatts means half of.
Meanwhile, some residents of Diobu under the Silverbird feeder are raising concerns over what they describe as neglect by the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company, PHED. They told our correspondent that a cable near a transformer which supplies electricity to over 3 streets in the Mount 3 area got burnt, and despite reporting the issue to PHED, nothing has been done. The residents said they have been without power for over 10 days now, and there has been no word or effort from the company to fix the problem. On the international scene, the United Nations has warned that the effect of Israel's action in Gaza is threatening the future viability of Palestinians as a group. This is as the most recent strike killed at least 10 people, including 7 children. Spokeswoman for the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Ravina Shamdasani, today said the death, the destruction, the displacement, the denial of access to basic necessities within Gaza, and the repeated suggestion that Gazans should leave the territory entirely. She told reporters that Israel had launched about 224 raids on residential buildings and tents housing displaced people between March 18 and April 9. On the news this evening, you heard the River CP has apologized to the NUJ over journalist assault during Monday's protest. A state high court has stopped security agencies from arresting former Obiakpo chairman Chijioke Ihunwo. Rivers immunization officer has dismissed reports of disruption in healthcare services. And on the foreign scene, UN has raised an alarm over Israeli attacks on women and children in Gaza. The news was edited by Martha Okere. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I'm Sam Chinedu. Thanks for listening.